he's going to be here for next few days, because this next thing after putting that, installing that vinyl planking flooring, of course, you see all this here? Yeah, he's going to be the same person installing the carpet. And you see here, here's the carpet pad, and he's going to have to install his tack strip all the way along these walls, and hopefully I'll be here and we'll show you how to install a brand new flooring tack strip. And he was talking to me, asking me, hey, did you save any of that tack strip from the last person who installed the flooring? Here's the tack strip right here. And I said, no, I didn't save any of it, because first off, lots of it had rusty nails in it, and it was old, it looked tired, and somebody had, this condo's about 15 years old. Of course, the carpet's been replaced a couple different times during its life of the condo, and in certain areas the tack strip was half the thickness, half the width of this tack strip. Can you believe that? This is standard tack strip. Well, the tack strip that was on here was maybe 2/3 as wide as this, which isn't very wide. And I thought, no way, I'm not leaving that. And so I took out the rest of it, and he's a little short on his tack strip. Make sure that whenever you're reinstalling carpets and stuff, look at your tack strip, make a determination. Are you going to take the tack strip out? Here's the other thing. You always want to look at your tack strip after you remove your carpet, in case you have cats or dogs, or the last person had cats or dogs, because you may see some of them that are discolorated, and you might see some that feel kind of damp. It could be piss, you know, animal pee-pee. And so obviously you're not going to want to leave those pieces of tack strip. If you got any questions, take up the tack strip. Tell your installer, say, I want a brand new tack strip. And so, anyways, they're gonna have the carpet here. The carpet's not here yet, and I was hoping that they weren't gonna just take it and roll it out on the asphalt down there, especially if it's raining or something. The garage is really super small, and you know, he said, hey, no, we measure it and we actually cut it at our warehouse, and then we bring it out. You know, so the biggest pieces are going to be rolled up individually. And I thought, oh, that's cool, because lots of places don't do that for you. Because this is the biggest room, the master bedroom, and he's already going to have those pieces cut. That's going to be nice. And like I was saying, the trim, he's not going to install that little quarter round yet to the cabinets, because he's got to use this little stapler for these stairs anyways, because the stairs, when they install a carpet on the stairs, they roll it over, and then they take their little stapler, tap, 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 and they get it all pulled down nice and tight before they bring the next piece down, so forth and so on. And I don't know, I forget, I think they start at the bottom and work their way, yeah, that's how they do it. They start at the bottom and then they work their way up, because there'll be a piece of tack strip down here. I forget, no, they only had one. Can you believe this? They only had one piece of tack strip along there. I've seen it where they've got a piece of tack strip here, here, and here. Well, this condo, they only had a piece of tack strip there, so they brought the carpet up, and they stapled it here, they stapled it down there, and they stapled it up there. A ton of staples on here we had to remove just to get ready, and then they would roll it up, then they would stretch it over to here, and that's it. And then they would go up the next one. They wouldn't stretch it to the left or to the right. So I'm kind of curious how they're gonna do this. And maybe it's because this stairwell is not very wide. If you have a stairwell that's wider than this, then yes, I guess that's why you would have tack strip on both sides, so that you could stretch the carpet to the right and to the left. Maybe because this is only this wide, they don't have to do that. We'll see. We'll see. And I like the fact that whoever installed these initially, this edge is round. See that? How you can see how it's rounded. Hope you can see that on the camera. Yeah, right there. See? Because lots of people used to have this just straight up and down, and then the carpet harder to roll over, a nice contoured roundness. And this top one, this is part of the subfloor, 3/4 inch tongue and groove subfloor, and that was just square. Well, I took my rasp. You saw those rasps that I showed you. I spent probably a half hour rasping that down, rounding it off. And I think I did a fairly nice job on that. You know, because it was square before, and I thought, nothing doing. I'm not going to leave that. So yes, how did I do that? This rasp. I just used the rough side. See how it's rounded? And I used both sides a little bit. And that's how you do that. So, like I said, because they were installing that vinyl flooring downstairs first, that gave me enough time to concentrate on working up here. So what did I end up doing yesterday? Well, see these door frames? Ooh, that's like smooth as a baby's butt. Well, it's day 2 of installing the vinyl flooring. Here's all their scraps. Little Billy has been working diligently with his pops, and he's got the scraps all kind of lined up over here in case they can use them for fills and that kind of stuff. And dabbity nabbit, I was trying to get here first thing this morning before they moved the refrigerator. There's the refrigerator, remember? It was sitting over here, and he didn't slide it over the floor. He took a bag, and it's like a hovering bag. He's got it in there, and he pumps that up with air, and it just kind of lifts it up, and then they just slide it over there with the bag. I was hoping to show that to you, but that's how they do it nowadays. So when you have somebody installing your floor and they want to drag your old refrigerator over the brand new flooring, make sure they use a bag like that. And he still has a little ways to go. He's doing a really good job here. And I'm still going to have to put the quarter round trim down along the sides, and I'm waiting until he's done to see what size I'm going to get. I ran to Home Depot this morning, and you know, they have that stuff pre-finished white, even in plastic moldings now, 8 foot long, and that's probably what I'm going to use. I'll show you that later. But they have it in wood too, and they have that in 3/8, 1/2 inch, 5/8, and 3/4. You don't have to use 3/4 nowadays if you don't want. But I talked to Billy, and he's suggesting, because it's a taller baseboard, to go with the 3/4 inch. I may do that, or I may use 5/8 or even 1/2 inch. I don't want to go too small because the baseboard's not really super tall. This baseboard's probably about 4.5 inches tall. They have baseboard about 6 inches tall nowadays. Did you know that? And then I would probably go with the 3/4 inch quarter round. But I may stick to 1/2 inch or 5/8. I'll show you that later on another episode. But yeah, they're working down here, so it's given me a chance to do some more painting up there. But before I talk about that, they've got to put quarter round trim around these cabinets again. And you know, I was lucky enough when I took this trim out that I saved it, and I saved it good enough to where I pulled it out, and I was hoping that they could reuse it. And he's going to be gracious enough after he gets done with the flooring. He's got a little Brad nailer gun that he's going to be able to put all that trim back for me. So whenever you take trim out, make sure you save it, especially for something like that, because there's no way I want to use white quarter round for that. That would look awful, wouldn't it? I'm just bringing you up here to show you that trim here real quick. I wasn't going to show you this, but here it is, right here. I'm just going to show you this real quick, and because the last person who nailed it down, they nailed it to the floor and to the side of the cabinet. And on this material, you don't want to nail it to the floor. It's a free floating floor, so you can't nail it down to the floor. And so they had all these nails sticking up. I couldn't cut these off flush. I cut them off as low as I could. I took my little rasp, and here's a brand new one. See, this is for metal and this is for wood. You turn it over on the other side. See how it's concaved? Metal, smooth, rough wood. And this one's so old, I should probably throw it away. This is probably, I've had this probably for 20 years. And it's not very sharp anymore. I should actually throw this away or save it for emergencies. And this is the one that should go in my nail bag. It's brand spanking new. It's really sharp too. And here's a tip for you. When you buy that at the store, that's probably $8 or $9 just to buy it separate. Well, I bought it in a set. It had some hand files and some rectangular triangle file and a couple flat files, some handles, you know, for different files. I got the whole set for like $11. You know, so for $3 extra or whatever it was, I got all these other files, but chances are I may never use those files for anything. In fact, I'm not even sure where they are, but I ended up, that's what I did instead of just buying this by itself. But anyways, I took that and I was able to file down all of these nails, all of the finished nails, you know, on the sides, the inside corners and stuff. And then even on some of these, had some discolorations on them. I even used my old one on the smooth side and filed down some dirty marks on here and stuff. I wanted to make sure these all were finished. And when I took them off, I numbered them from left to right, 1 through however many trim pieces I have. So here's 1, 2, 3, and so forth, okay? And so I numbered them all. And before I have them nail it, this first one, because it went up there before, you know, straight up against the baseboard, was cut straight, and then they cut the 45, you know, for the next piece and so forth. Well, I decided, hey, I can't put that on yet because now with the free floating floor, my white quarter round is going to be going up against this first one. So if this first one goes up against the baseboard, how can I show you this? Okay, here we go. Here's the edge. Just kind of visualize. This is the edge of where the dishwasher is. The dishwasher's right here. Okay? So they had these first two pieces here. Just follow me here for a minute. Okay? Get my knee pad out because I always use my knee pad. Okay? The first piece, and we had a corner here on the outside. So here's that face of the cabinet and the dishwasher's on the other side. And this went right up against there. And then this was the return. This was the return that went like that. And then the dishwasher is from here over. Follow me so far? Okay, so if that's hitting the wall, I don't want them to install that yet because now I'm going to put quarter round on this where the vinyl flooring is. And if that's nailed like that, how on earth am I going to take a quarter round and push it up there and have it look right? I don't want to caulk that or anything. I'd like to have a 45-degree angle there so that this part next to the cabinet is staying this color, and from here this way is going to be the white quarter round. Okay, so I'm gonna need to cut that at an angle, aren't I? And so when I cut it at the angle, then I'll have a piece. You know, well, I don't think I have a piece, but anyways, there's gonna be an angle like that this way. So I'm not even gonna have them install this one yet, and on this, and because this is still straight, I could even glue it onto the side of the cabinet, and this one was sticking out ever so little, and I want to make sure that the dishwasher fits in. I may have to trim this. So these two I may end up just gluing up to the cabinet, and I just have to glue it on this edge that goes to the cabinet. I can't put glue. When I say glue, I'm talking caulking. I can't caulk it on the bottom or nail it. I can't have anybody nail it to the floor because this is called a free floating vinyl floor. Okay, free floating means it can move both directions, so it can expand and contract during weather conditions, during the winter, during the summer, air conditioning, heater, and so forth. So the floor needs to move around and relax. Well, if you nail this down to the floor, or if you glue this down to the floor, it can't move. And if something happens to the floor, then their out is always, oh, well, that voids our warranty because you nailed something to the floor, you glued something down to the floor. Now that your floor has buckled or shifted or puckered, we're saying it's because you nailed your trim down to the floor, because you caulked your trim down to the floor, because of something of that sort. So make sure that if you're installing a floor, or if somebody installs a floor for you and you're doing some trim, make sure you find out what type of floor it is. Not all vinyl floors are free floating, okay? Some, I've seen them actually glue down to the floor. If you glued it down to the floor, yeah, you could nail a piece of trim down to the floor, or glue it down to the floor, put mastic down, construction adhesive, just painter's caulking, whatever you want to the floor, and know that that's not a free floating floor. Same thing with wood floors or fake laminated wood floors. You gotta read those directions, because if it's a free floating floor, and here's the other thing, on free floating floors, you gotta maintain a certain gap. So whatever type of material you're installing, look at the manufacturer's little instruction guide, and it'll tell you what type of gap to maintain on your flooring, you know, underneath your baseboard or up against your sheetrock walls, both directions, and this, that, and the other thing, okay? So I filed down all this, and I'm gonna have him, out of the goodness of his heart, he's gonna use his nailer and put most of those back up. He's not gonna do that today, but I've got these all ready for him now, and he's gonna be here for next few days, because this next thing after putting that, installing that vinyl planking flooring, of course, you see all this here? Yeah, he's gonna be the same person installing the carpet, and you see here's the carpet pad, and he's going to have to install his tack strip all the way along these walls, and hopefully I'll be here and we'll show you how to install a brand new flooring tack strip.